WNYWatercooler.com.
Allen, no timeouts as he runs, and he does so well all the way out to midfield. He laterals the ball. The ball is then batted out of bounds by Dawson Knox, and a flag is down.
You know, he takes it backward. Now they're going to take a look at this as a potential bat. If it is batted backwards towards their team area, it's not a foul. If it's forward, it is an illegal bat.
But how unnecessary was that? Why would you ever do this? It's not
there is
desperation.
no foul for an illegal bat, as the ball was batted backward and out of bounds. The ball is placed at the spot where it went out of bounds. First down.
I honestly don't know if I've ever seen anything like that.
There's a minute 4 remaining, Boog, and he's acting like it's the final play of the game. Just go down.
Welcome back. WNYWaterCooler.com podcast. We got Steve, the host. We got Coast on the line. Subscribe, rate, review. Find us out there.
Just as we thought, we'd be one win away from the 2 seed all along.
And we're favored, yeah. So we're recording this Saturday around noon, so we don't know the results of Saturday, but yeah, just like we thought. I mean, most people said, the Dolphins are going to drop one of those games, and after we beat did we really have a tough road game? We didn't really. I mean, the Cowboys game was tough, and the
Arrowhead, we won at Arrowhead.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we won at KC.
We basically won at Philly.
Yeah, but, I mean, that game, the Bills played so well, except for like a couple of fluke things that happened. But
Tyler Bass,
59-yarder in the rain.
Yeah, we missed 2 field goals. They make a 59-yarder. Cooks drop. I mean, it was just that game was a game that we played well and probably deserved to win. The Antonio Brown AJ Brown, that could have easily been a fumble. There's just a lot of the 10-1 in penalties in the first half. That was a weird game.
Yeah, everyone forgets about that AJ Brown fumble because it wasn't a fumble. But if that's a fumble, game's over. We win because we were up 3 in overtime. So it literally would have been over.
You can absolutely make the case that it was. I mean, think about that Latavius Murray catch they called at Arrowhead. I mean, it was, AJ Brown, it was comparable in how much they possessed the ball as far as catching it, taking a couple steps, bringing it into the body, whatever. But yeah, so that game was weird. But the help that we got that we probably didn't expect to get in this position is that Titans game, which people seem to forget. Everyone talks about Miami's defense, and I guess they haven't been as good, but for a while there, people were like, "Oh, they're back." They gave up 2 touchdown drives in the last 2 minutes to Will Levis.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that
3
game
weeks
was
ago.
insane. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, no one really expected that. So we were expecting them to lose to the Cowboys and to the Ravens. Yeah, they beat the Cowboys game, but the Dolphins. I mean, I didn't see that game because I was at the Bills Patriots, but. I mean, they got completely murdered by Baltimore.
Murdered. Yeah. I mean, they got crushed. I mean, the turnovers and the ease at which it seemed like Baltimore scored. I mean, I think if you look at the box score, it doesn't seem as lopsided, but I'm sure there was a lot of garbage time yards there in the end for Miami. I think it was 55 to 19.
Yeah,
55 to 19. Yeah. And the Dallas game too, not for nothing, but they won by 1, maybe? And Dallas fumbled at the 1-yard line. First and goal from the foot line or something. So that was a fortuitous win for Miami. But, they did lose that Titans game. So here we are. AFC East title at stake and, potentially a playoff berth at stake for us, which is pretty nerve-wracking. I hope that doesn't ultimately be what the situation is. But either way, we need this win.
Would you want? I mean, we want them to know that they're already in the playoffs, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Because I think that we would choke. I think the team would choke, or the coach, or the quarterback would try a little bit too hard, like he loves to do.
Man, I can't believe I'm really going to say this, but no, I agree. I mean, I think if we know we're in, we're gonna. I would predict that we would smoke them. I think we're a better team than Miami. I think I'm in all, offense, defense, every area. We're healthier. We're better on the D line. We're better on the offensive line. I mean, they have injuries all over, assuming Mitch Morse is fine.
Illness.
They're banged up everywhere. So the biggest concern I have going into this game is Josh Allen. That's why I said I can't believe I'm going to say this, but like, man, I need him. And I guess the concern I have is related to some of these injuries he has, like a swollen middle finger. Like, I feel like that could be a problem. I think I shouldn't say Josh Allen. It's the passing game in general.
Well, they don't use Diggs anymore. And then like Tim Graham's coming out trying to like stir the pot.
Yeah, well, I missed that. Oh, that guy's an idiot. Well, the thing with Diggs is like people keep talking about. I've heard, we've missed him on these deep shots, which is true. But I don't want Diggs to be like a dink and dunk, like 4 for 25, 5 for 31, and the only way he has a good game is if we hit a bomb. Like, where is he in the intermediate like part of the field? Like, where we're hitting these passes to Davis and Shakir lately, kind of, but like Diggs it seems like he's catching the ball at the line of scrimmage, or at most like 8 yards downfield, but we're never targeting him in structure, like 15, 20 yards on the field, I feel like.
Yeah, no, we're definitely not. But I also don't understand. I hate the friggin' pass to him at the line of scrimmage or behind it. That's not. I don't. He's never. Maybe he did that like 6, 8 years ago, but that's not what he's ever done here. I don't get that. Those screen or whatever they call it, like a flare shot or whatever.
They don't seem to really like know how to get him the ball. It's strange.
All of a sudden, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like each of the last few seasons, I want to say his production has sort of dropped the second half of the year compared to the first half of the year, and it definitely has. But I don't know. This season seems different with the way we're using him. It's like they don't really know what they want to do or how they want to get him the ball, and other than these like weird bubble screens, and he had a run like a literal handoff last game.
Yeah,
like a draw play.
I thought I heard something about his depth of target has been the lowest like for the last 6 weeks out of his whole 50 whatever games he's played here. Like,
yeah,
I mean that's a Joe Brady problem, but
yeah,
the offense in general is still fine.
And like some of that is just circumstance. Like the Dallas game, they didn't need to throw at all. Like so I have no problem with what they did there, but that's like part of what's like causing these numbers to look the way they are. I mean, they only attempted 15 passes. He only completed 7. Even the Chargers game, they only attempted 21 passes for the game. So, like, I don't know. It's hard to really have good stats when you're doing that, but
that is true. I mean, a couple of those. I mean, the games were just. I mean, even the Patriots game, it was a pretty close game, but it was never like Patriots might win this game. Like, I don't think I ever really felt that way, but. Maybe for a little while, but
yeah, it was a weird the turnover, the way the game started, it was like, people talk about the turnovers and we should have done better. We gave up an opening kickoff touchdown. I want to know how many times teams win when they give up an opening kickoff TD to the other team.
I missed that. I didn't get in the stadium.
It's like
for some reason I was real late getting in. I don't know what happened. It was
4-1, the turnovers were 4-1, and just like brushing over the fact that we had a kick return TD, which like never happens anymore. Anyways, it was a weird game.
Yeah, it definitely was a weird game. Like Cook didn't even really do much.
No, and in the ball control stuff is like, I don't know, man. It's the drops. The drops are. We had so many drops against New England, couple critical ones, a third down in the fourth quarter that Latavius Murray just, dropped for the first down. I want to say we had a couple fumbles there. Allen had 2 fumbles that we recovered, thankfully. He had one terrible fumble, like where he was scrambling and like stretched his arm out. I mean, it was just it was a game that you just shouldn't see. I feel like at this stage, like, I don't know.
Yeah, the only thing, the Allen fumble, the one fumble is a couple of them were just like, what the fuck? Are we trying to lose? But, I mean, the Patriots defense still is pretty good. I mean,
They've
but
been super good. They've been super
yeah.
good. They lost back-to-back games like within the last probably 6 weeks where they allowed like 10 or fewer points in both games. They lost 10-6 in Germany. They lost 3 or 6-0 to the Chargers. Maybe those are the two.
Yeah,
But
and that
they
was
so
against
they,
Herbert.
yeah, so like I mean their defense, they have the number 1 rush defense in the league. We still ran it like pretty good, but none of our runs, like I think we were consistent running the ball like for, decent yardage, but we didn't have any like 20 like long runs. It was like 4, 5, 6, 7 like at a time, but I don't know. The passing game just seems so like not there right now.
Yeah, so then we go to the Dolphins game. I don't know. Waddle practiced Friday, but I mean, they know they're in the playoffs, but I mean, they won a division. I don't know. When was the last time they won the division? Like 02?
I think they won it I think they won it the Brady ACL year.
Oh yeah.
So 08.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they definitely want the division, but I do think there's something to say for forcing guys back early, like Waddle and Mostert and their middle linebacker Baker, like some of these guys that are sort of questionable. I mean, I don't know. Like, is this game more important than the next one for them? Maybe. It's hard to say. And they're going to KC if they lose. So would you rather? That's the penalty for them for losing is going to KC. So
yeah,
which shouldn't be scary. So I don't know.
That's actually quite an interesting matchup, really. Chiefs, if it's Dolphins at Chiefs, because it's like good offense versus good defense. I still don't really trust the Dolphins. I mean, obviously, they've never. I mean, they played us well in the playoffs last year, but they still lost.
It's a fluky game too. Like you look at the yardage and box score. I mean, the best game they played against us was that December snow game, where they were up 8 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that was like a couple weeks before that last year. But this year, I'm pulling up their schedule. But so the spread is 2.5. Over-under's 48. So the line hasn't really moved. I saw it 3, but it's minus 2.5. But the Bills are minus 122. And
it was 3.5, 3, 2.5. I bet you it moves back up to 3. But dude, they're missing like multiple starters on the offensive line. I mean, if you're a receiver whose biggest strength is speed and you have a high ankle sprain, like, okay, you might play, but like Jalen Waddle all of a sudden becomes like what? Like maybe a number 3 quality receiver. Like he's definitely not going to be like full strength. So maybe he can run a straight line sprint, but like the cutting and stuff can't possibly be.
Yeah. So he when was the high ankle sprain? It was
2 weeks ago. He missed 1 game, I think. So.
Yeah, I'm pulling up it. Yeah, he played on the 24th. That's when he got it against Dallas. So that was
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So there's no way he plays this week. I'll say Waddle's out definitely. But yeah. So the Dolphins this year, they won at the Chargers by 2. They beat the Patriots by a touchdown. Then they destroyed Denver, and then it just like exploded. Oh, the Dolphins are the best team of all time. Mm-hmm. Which those 2 wins in retrospect were not impressive at all. The Denver game, that Denver game, you score 70 yet. And Denver somehow bounced back after that. So then they come here and they got trounced. Then they beat up bad on the Giants and Carolina. Then they lost by 14 at the Eagles, which Tua didn't play very well.
I saw a stat or heard a stat or something that there's out of the teams that are still alive for the playoffs, I think Miami is like 1-4 or 1-5 in those games, and their point differential is like negative 80 something. So that's like us, Philly, Baltimore, KC, and Dallas. Maybe those are the only 5. So maybe they're 1-4, and they've gotten crushed in at least 3 of those games.
Yeah, their losses against us, Eagles, Chiefs, which was in Germany. They lost that Titans game, and then they got destroyed by Baltimore. So they beat Dallas by 2, and they crushed the Jets twice. Even that Raiders game, they won 20-13, but that game was pretty close. They throttled Washington. So, and they're kind of like some of these Bills teams of yesteryear, where they would just crush bad teams.
Well, yeah, and I think we talked about it earlier in the season too. Like, I feel like their talent level on offense and like their coaching and stuff, it's all good. And like, so they're not. They're not gonna like. I didn't feel like they were gonna lose to a crap team. Like, we lost to some crap teams this year, obviously. So, but I don't think they have the upside. Like, everything is gimmicky. So once you get figured out, I don't know. It's sort of happening as people sort of predicted.
Yeah, it definitely has. They are gimmicky. I mean, their defense. Oh, I thought it was supposed to be so good. Well, they got Ramsey back. Well, I mean, is it really? I mean, they have just piling up injuries, which is a fact. But
yeah, they got no Xavier Howard this week either. So I mean, I don't know. And Ramsey, I don't know how good Ramsey is anymore. I mean, he's got to be like getting around Trey White's age, right? He's had injuries. Is this Jalen Ramsey, the same Jalen Ramsey from like the Jags 3-4 years ago? Like, I can't imagine so.
Yeah, it's like the Rams, they don't seem to miss him. I don't.
We torched them opening day last year. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. We did. It's right now we're doing the podcast, like I said, Saturday, and we don't know. But yeah, I think it's two scenarios. It's like, if we know that we're in, I think we'll be a little more relaxed and we will just kind of beat on them. But if it's win or go home, I don't know. It's going to come down to like the very end of the game.
I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, it's hard to know. Like, Miami, I feel like Miami has all the pressure on them because this season has been like a disaster for the Bills. They've been written off like
hundreds of times. Like, every week the window's closed, the window's closed, the window's closed. And then if they end up being the 2 seed, like, it'll be fun to go back and listen to shit after, like,
I know
some of those games.
Yeah, and like, yeah, so we've been written off all these times. Like, us missing the playoffs would sort of be like the way, like, it would put like a, sort of a bow on this season and how it's just gone. Like, it's been a total disaster. Having 10 wins and missing the playoffs would be like fitting. But Miami has been talked about like they're the greatest offense of all time. Like, they're like this darlings of the league. Like,
everyone loves their coach. Everyone loves their coach.
Obsessed with their coach. Thinks he's like so cool.
Yeah, because he wears like fitted pants and wears sunglasses. And he like pretends to like hip hop or some bullshit. I don't fucking get the whole Mike McDaniel thing. Win a big game. I mean, win 2 big games.
And it's not even like the winning a big game thing. They're getting like absolutely smoked in these games. Like, the 1 seed's on the line and you lose 55-19.
Yeah, and it wasn't like that bad of weather, was it? It was like a little drizzly.
No, it was like, yeah. I mean, I don't think it was bad. So, I mean, Isaiah Likely was making one-handed catches, and it's just they just got crushed, and
yeah.
So it's almost like the opposite scenario from the first time we played them, because they were coming off like this 70-point game, and now it's like the opposite. Like, they're coming off this like ass whooping, 55 points they give up, and it's almost like the polar opposite. But anyways, my point is all the pressure's on them. For them to like not even win the division this year when they're the darlings of the league and we're like written off would be kind of funny.
It would be hilarious. It would be absolutely hilarious. Yeah. If they don't even win the division after they've been the Bills were 16-1 to win the division a friggin' month ago or 5 weeks ago. I mean, you don't get odds like that in the NFL. That's not something that happens.
Yeah, I mean, it would be. I mean, it would be like, it would be funny for sure. It would be, all that. But then at the same time, it would be like maybe the result that is the right result for the season, because you look around the AFC, who's the second best team in the AFC? Like, everyone would say Baltimore now. Like, I'm not going to say we can't beat them, but like after them, you definitely can make the argument that the Bills are the second best team. You look at point differential; it's not even close. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean even Baltimore. I mean Baltimore is good. They top to bottom, their team is really good. But yeah, the whole AFC is pretty wide open. So it's kind of the whole season has been weird. Like the Eagles were unbeatable, and then now they're not even considered good, barely. And the Chiefs have sort of fallen apart. Bills fell apart. Miami's falling apart too now.
Yeah, it's been a weird year. That's why I feel like us missing the playoffs would be like almost fitting. At the same, it would be equally weird for us to miss the playoffs as it would be for us to be the 2 seed. Probably the Bills at the 2 seed when at the end of November we were 6-6 would be just equally bizarre.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it was possible to be the 2 seed like after that Denver game. It was like fire everyone and
which we did fire. We did. I don't know. Yeah, so.
Yeah, so the crowd, like you said, I think the pressure really is on the Dolphins. I mean, it may flip if we don't get the help that we need to guarantee a playoff spot. But the crowd, I'm wondering about. The tickets are insane. $275 for the cheapest ticket, $281 for each ticket. I mean, the crowd. I could see a lot of Bills fans going. I mean, they probably already had tickets to the game. Yeah. But I mean, it's kind of a weird thing. Like at the beginning of the year, like, what road game are we going to go to? Well, do we want to go to the last game of the year or wait for the playoff game because everyone assumed we'd be in the playoffs? But going to Miami is also a fun trip. So I think it's going to be a raucous crowd. I have a feeling. I
expect a lot of Bills fans to be there. I saw something they're calling for like half the stadium could be Bills fans. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I mean, I don't know. Like, what are Dolphins fans like? Are they like? I mean, it's South Florida. How much do they care? I guess is my question.
Yeah, I mean, they have diehard fans, but they have like 40,000 diehard fans. I mean, they haven't been relevant. They're always hyped. Every other year, they're hyped up as they're back. The Dolphins are back, of which I don't know where they ever were. I mean, they haven't really been relevant in 25 years.
Yeah.
Since Marino.
Right. Yeah, because they won the division in 08, and then before that, it was probably 98 or 90, somewhere around there, because the Patriots basically won it every year from like 02, 01 to 2019.
Yeah.
So this could be our 4th straight. I mean, I think this division title means a lot to the Bills too. Like, I think that we've I don't know, man. That Bengals game notwithstanding last year, it's kind of especially in the regular season, we've been able to sort of count on this team to show up.
Yeah, regular season when it really mattered. I don't remember except that the Bengals game. I mean, we don't know. It was 10 or 14-3 or 10. No, it was 7-3. Yeah, they were trying.
But they were at midfield, and everyone they were at midfield, and people assumed they were just scoring a touchdown that drive, which is possible. But I mean, Sean McDermott's record in December is like 18-2, maybe 19-2 now. So that says all you need to know. And one of the losses, I think, was I don't know if that counted January, because we lost a week last game of the year when we rested our starters. We lost to the Jets in 2019. So, but you look at 2021, we won our last, 4. 2020, we didn't lose. We won our last 9 games in 2020 and 2022. So this team they've just had a lot of success late in the season in December. So I'm confident in them showing up. So they're going to have to get beat. I don't think they're going to beat themselves in this one.
No, I'm not as confident in that, but I think the team will show up. I think it'll be it's not like the Bills are going to get trounced by the Dolphins. And the other thing is we own them. We always play well against them. We scheme up against them. We know we lost to them last year in that Heat game, but that game, dude, we still we put up a lot of yardage.
Josh Allen's 9-2 against Miami. One of the losses was the Charles Clay drop. And the other loss was that game in Miami last year where we had 500 yards of offense and they had like 170. So literally one of the flukiest losses of all time was that game in Miami last year.
Yeah, I think with the injuries and everything, as long as Mitch Morris plays it just said illness. I mean, what is that, like the flu or some bullshit? If he's out, it could be concerning. But
I'm not sure, but hopefully he just had like a. But dude, they get like. He's probably been hooked up to an IV for like the last 2 days. You know?
Yeah, I think what happens is because he was too sick to practice Friday, so he has to have an injury designation. I think that's how that works. So
yeah, and there's no probable. You're either questionable or have no game designation at all. So
yeah,
and it could have been like a stomach thing where, they just didn't want him around the team and, pump him with fluids, and he's probably fine now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, really.
He's got young kids. He fucking knows what they bring home. So I'm not worried about him not playing. So we'll just hope that that's the case. So what are your feelings on the other two games that matter to us this weekend?
So Baltimore, Pittsburgh. I mean, Tyler Huntley played against them in both games last year, and both of them were still 3-point games. They won one and they lost one. I didn't look it up, but I heard that someone said that on the radio, so I assume that's true. So, and it's Pittsburgh. I mean, they've played a little better lately, but Pittsburgh could lose any game. I mean, it's
100%.
still Mason friggin' Rudolph. That guy could get hit a couple times, have someone crack a helmet over his skull.
I
it's
completely
Mike Tomlin.
agree.
He's going to punt. Mike Tomlin's going to punt
Dude,
the ball.
the Steelers. Yeah, Mason Rudolph's a third-string quarterback for a reason, and he's just had two consecutive games where he's been like. I mean, he's been his stats, the efficiency, everything has been like ridiculously good to the point where law of averages, like this guy could come crashing back down to earth. Throw a couple early interceptions. We could see Pickett in the second half. Or whoever, Trubisky. So I agree. The Steelers can lose to anybody. And just because the Ravens are benching guys, they're going to want to win. I've heard a little bit of maybe Baltimore wants to keep the Bills out of the playoffs. You think that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, that doesn't really make any sense for a few reasons. Because you have backups in that they want to be starters. They're not going to be just like laying back.
Yeah.
And they hate the Steelers. I mean, it's
100%.
Like, do I want the Dolphins in the playoffs, or do I want a team that's a little bit better than them? It's obviously I don't want the Dolphins in the playoffs. That's what I would be thinking. So they would be thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it's exactly. The Ravens would love nothing more than to end the Steelers season, and not to mention there could be some reverberations. Or whatever the word. Like, if the Steelers lose to the Ravens, like, non-starters, that could cause for a pretty tumultuous offseason in Pittsburgh. So to have a hand in that, I don't know, is Mike Tomlin, like, guaranteed to come back? Like, if they finish, 9-8 again, miss the playoffs, lose to their rivals' backups, like, you could really do something to that franchise, and that's your rival? I don't know. You don't want to... They're going to be trying to win. This is a team that's won 24 consecutive preseason games.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was going to say. So they have depth, or they have like a winning mentality, regardless. I mean, which is kind of stupid, but still, that's their mentality. That's the coach's mentality.
So, and my guy, I don't know why I said my guy. Schefter tweeted out this morning.
You and Shefty? Wow, I had no idea.
The Ravens have like Justice Hill, not like he's a superstar, but he needs some number of yards to get like a $250,000 bonus. Clowney needs like 1/2 of a sack to get like a $500,000 bonus. You think they're going to keep these guys out? Like, I don't know, man. I think a lot of guys, I mean, I'm sure like Roquan Smith and like guys like that aren't going to play. Beckham, Jackson, but like I don't know. You still have to play a bunch of starters. I mean, we lost to starters. We lost to backups before. It happens all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Probably.
It does all the time. And then what's the other game is Sunday.
Jags Titans.
Yeah, and Trevor Lawrence is hurt, so he's not. And they haven't looked good in 2 months.
No, in the Titans, talk about a team that wants to win. They definitely want to win. To ruin the Jags season, Vrabel wants to keep his job. Henry might be his last game with the Titans. Tannehill's last game with the Titans. The Titans, they beat the Dolphins a few weeks ago on the road. So
yeah, and Tannehill playing is kind of Levis, I think they said could play, but I think it's going to be Tannehill.
Yeah,
I don't know, in a game like that, I think I'd rather have Tannehill. But
100%. Yeah, maybe he won't turn it over, and they'll just run the football. And I think the Jags aren't that good, so I think one of those two should go our way.
Yeah, I would bet one of the two would go our way, and look at the money lines of the other two of those two.
It's like I don't know. I mean, there's 3.5 3-point line, 3.5 point line, and I know the Bills missed the playoffs parlay. It was like plus 440 or something. So yeah, that includes the Dolphins.
Tennessee's plus 154 money line. Yeah, the spread is 3.5.
Yeah,
which I think that went down, and then the Ravens game, it's still 3, and Baltimore's plus 136. But the other weird thing, if Houston and Indy tie, we would get in. I mean there's one tie a year. I don't think there's been a tie though this year. Although the overtime rules are different too. But
if any two teams are going to tie, I feel like it would be Indy Houston.
Yeah, that fucking division. That's the other thing of how it's a weird year. Pittsburgh gets in, and everybody that had with a brain hates them.
Yeah,
they're just terrible to watch, except for George Pickens, who's an asshole. But that whole friggin' AFC South, I mean, the teams have played better, but they're all just not. There's no team in there that's like, oh man, I don't want to go play that team. CJ Stroud can put up yardage, but I mean, he still is a rookie.
Right, exactly. I mean, that division's a joke, but these teams have all somehow overachieved. I mean, Pittsburgh winning 10 games this year would be an absolute miracle.
Yeah, they don't deserve to win 10 games. They're not a 10-win team. They have a bunch of good players on their D line, and they have playmakers on offense. But I don't know.
They have so many lucky close wins this season, and their whole strategy is to just muck up the game and keep it close and get to the fourth quarter and just hope that the calls and the bounces go their way. And they
they get a sack and a fumble, and then they get it. How many times? I mean, those guys are great, but we got a minute left here, so
yeah,
I'll give 2 predictions. If the Bills don't need the game to get in, I'll say that we'll win 30-20. But if we need to get in, I don't know. I mean, I think we'll lose 24-23 or something.
I think we're gonna win. I think we're better than them. I think we're healthier. I think we're better. We've been in this position before, so I like us to show off, and I think we're gonna get the job done. I'm gonna go 31-23, and 31-23 Bills. Let's see. Then we're playing the Colts next week.
So it would definitely be the Colts
if the Jags win and they in Houston. I would rank the teams I would want to play in order would be Indy, Pittsburgh, Houston. That are most likely. Jacksonville might be possible. I don't really know, but that's the order I would put them. I would love to get play. Indy at home.
Yeah, Indy. That team. All right, well, we'll see you at the bar Sunday night.
No doubt. All right, man. Talk to you later. All right.
Bills like Buffalo.
Go fuck yourself.
Shit, I'm all about the Bills like Thurman Thomas. I don't tip, I pay bills. Bitches call me Buffalo.
Fuck it. Do it live.
Fucking thing sucks!
Hey, Peter.
Yeah.
Watch out for your cornhole, bud.
Okay, Lawrence.
This is Nathan for you.